Okay. In a race of 3 horses, the first beat the second by 11 meters and the third by 90 meters. Okay. So what I will do is I will assume the speeds of the 3 horses as h1, h2, and h3 meters per second. Okay. So the first horse beats the second by 11 meters. Okay. Uh, in the question, they're asking you if the second beat the third by 80 meters, what was the length in meters of the race course? Okay. So let the length of the race course be equal to, let's say, x meters, right? Okay. So the first is beating the second by 11 meters. Ka matlab kya hai? When the first is traveling the entire track length, h1, the second will travel 11 meters less, right? So the ratio of the speeds will be same as the ratio of the distances, x upon x minus 11, right? Same way, the first one beats the third, right? Diy by 90 meters, right? So I'll write the first one beats the third one by 90 meters. So h1 upon h3 will be x upon x minus 90. When the first horse covers 90 x meters, the third horse will cover x minus 90, right? Also, it is given that second beat the third by 80 meters. So h2 upon h3 will be equal to x upon x minus 80. Okay. So h2 upon h3 will be x upon x minus 80. Okay, what you can observe is, guys, if you multiply these two equations, on the left hand side, h1 upon h2 and h2 upon h3, h2 will get cancelled out, right? So h1 upon h2 into h2 upon h3 will be equal to, multiply the right hand side, x upon x minus 11 to x upon x minus 80. Okay, reducing this, h2 gets cancelled out, right? We will have h1 upon h3 is equal to x square upon x minus 11 into x minus 80. Okay, but we know this is given to us, right? In the question, x upon x minus 90. So equate this with x upon x minus 90. Cancel out x, and then you can cross multiply. When you cross multiply, guys, you will get x square minus 90 x will be equal to x square minus 91x plus 880. X square cancel, 91x on the left hand side. You will get x equals to 880. So the track length ka value is 880. Okay. Now there's a much quicker way to solve this question, guys. Let's understand how. So in a race of 3 horses, the first beat the second by 11 meters and the third by 90 meters. Okay. So we know that from this data, okay, the first horse, when it reaches the track length, complete track length, okay, the second horse is 11 meters behind and the third is now 90 meters behind, right? Now, if the second beat the third by 80 meters, इसका मतलब क्या है? When the second horse reaches the finish line, the last horse is still 80 meters behind, right? Okay, you can observe this once again. When the second horse reaches the finish line, the third horse is still 80 meters behind. Okay, up guys, before the second wala reached the finish line, okay, the third horse was 90 meters behind, and when the second horse reaches the finish line, the third horse is 80 meters behind. मतलब in the time जिसमें second horse covers 11 meters, the third horse covers how much? 90 minus 80, 10 meters, right? In the same time, these two horses cover distances 11 and 10. That means the ratio of the distances is 11 is to 10. Time same है तो ratio of speeds भी क्या हो जाएगा? 11 is to 10. So from this we can observe that the ratio of speeds of the second and the third horses is 11 is to 10. What is the difference in these two values? The difference in these two values is 1 unit. That corresponds to nothing but 80 meters, right? The second horse is beating the third by 80 meters, right? So 1 unit corresponds to 80 meters. So what is the value of 11 units? 11 unit means the distance the second horse will completely cover with respect to third, right? Which is 11. So 1 unit corresponds to 80, 11 corresponds to your answer, 880 meters. It's as simple as that. Okay, the next one is a homework question based on the exact same concept, just different values. Okay, same thing is to be done. We see a small concept based on linear meets. Okay, so there are two smileys, the white and black smiley. The white smiley travels at 20 kilometers per hour towards the right, and the black smiley starts 25 kilometers per hour towards the left. Okay, there is a gap of 180 meters between these two smileys. Okay, now what we can do is we can put this lower smiley at rest, or you can imagine relative speed, of course, if you want. Okay, relative speed यहाँ पे क्या हो जाएगा? Relative speed will be the summation of their actual speeds, right? They are moving in the opposite direction, right, guys? So relative speed will be 20 plus 25, 45 kilometers per hour. And likewise, you can find out the time taken to meet. Okay, time taken to meet is distance divided by relative speed, which is 4 hours. Okay, now let's talk about a scenario after meeting. Okay, after meeting, we observe that when the white smiley started, it started with a speed of 20 kilometers per hour. and it ran for 4 hours, right? So what is the distance it will travel? 20 multiplied by 4, 80 kilometers. Same way, the black smiley starts with a speed of 25 kilometers per hour, right? And it traveled for 4 hours. The distance it travels is 25 into 4, 100 kilometers, right? And that's how the 180 distance is traveled, okay? 80 kilometers and 100 kilometers, right? Okay. Now, after meeting, let's observe something here, okay? The distance of 80 kilometers will now be traveled by the black smiley, okay? And the distance of 100 kilometers will now be covered by the white smiley, right? Okay. Now, it is given that the black smiley speed is 25. 25 की speed से it travels a distance of 80. How much time it will take? 80 divided by 25, 16 upon 5. Similarly, if you observe, this distance is 100 kilometers. जो अब ये वाला object travel करेगा, white smiley, उसका speed कितना 20 था. So how much time will it take? 100 divided by 20, which is 5. What do you observe? The timings are 16 upon 5 and 5. Okay. The geometric mean of 16 and 5, 16 upon 5 and 5. The geometric mean comes out to be equal to 4 hours, which is the time taken to meet for the first time, right? Okay. So यहाँ से हम एक चीज सीखते हैं. Okay. If two persons or two objects meet after a certain amount of time, उसके बाद the first person takes A units extra time, the second person takes B units extra time, then the time taken to meet for the first time was what? The time taken to meet for the first time was the geometric mean of their given times. A and B at geometric mean. Okay. Now using this, we'll solve a question. Let's see. A and B leave their homes at points P and Q, which are 450 kilometers apart, and start moving towards each other at 8 kilometers per hour and 25 kilometers per hour respectively. Okay. If after meeting A reached B's home in 12.5 hours and B reached A's home in 8 hours, find the speed of A. Okay. Now, if you know this concept, guys, it's very easy. Okay. After meeting, A reached B homes in 12.5 hours. B reached A's home in 8 hours. So what was the time for meeting? The time for meeting is the geometric mean of these two values. 12.5 into 8 is 100. So root of 100 will be your meeting time pehli baar, which is nothing but 10 hours. Okay. Now you can apply the concept of relative speed, right? A and B are two people, 2 points A and B. Okay. Iska speed hai A units. Iska speed hai 25 units. Okay. They travel for some time. They cover a distance of 450 and the time is 10 hours. Okay, the time is nothing but distance upon the relative speed. Distance is 450, right? And relative speed यहाँ पे क्या हो जाएगा? Since they are both traveling in this opposite directions, A plus 25, sum of their speeds, right? So this is equal to 10. 10 में 0 0 cancel. You'll get A plus 25 equals to 45, or A is equal to 20. Okay, that is one way how to solve this question. Okay, see, once you calculate 10 hours, you can also solve this same question very easily, saying that, see, for this distance, okay, see, once for this distance, okay, A is taking 10 hours, okay, and B is reaching the house of A after 8 hours, right? So the time taken for this same journey, okay, from this point P to the meeting point, the time taken to meet is 10 hours. Okay, and B यहाँ से A के घर पे आ रहा है in 8 hours, right? So for this same leg of journey, the ratio of the timings of A and B is what? 10:8. So ratio of speed क्या हो जाएगा? उल्टा 4:5. But 5 corresponds to 25 kilometers per hour. 4 corresponds to what? 20 kilometers per hour. Same thing you will get by using ratios. Okay, so we go on to the next part now. Timon and Pumbaa leave their homes at points P and Q as shown in the figure. Their first meeting point was 40 meters from P and the second meeting point was 30 meters from Q. Find the distance PQ. Okay, so let me say I'm assuming the distance PQ to be equal to, let's say, d meters right now. Okay, Timon and Pumbaa, they are there. Okay, now I'll try to provide you exactly how the movement happens. We'll try to understand that. I'll just try to explain to you how they move. Okay, so I don't know their actual speeds now, doesn't matter. Let's see how they move. So they meet at some point. Okay, now it is given that the first time they meet, the distance is 40 meters from P. So that distance, let's say I'm assuming it as A units. Okay, तो ये डिस्टेंस सपोज हमने मान लिया A units, इसको हम लोग B मान लेंगे, 30 वाले को इसको हम लोग B मान लेंगे. Okay, so this distance is A units. Now guys, अगर पूरा track length D meters का है, Timon has moved a distance of A units, right? So Pumbaa will move how much? Pumbaa will move a distance of D minus A. Okay, but दोनों same time के लिए travel कर रहे हैं. You can observe this, guys. See, both are traveling for same amount of time. Okay, whenever time is same, the ratio of speeds is same as the ratio of their distances, right? So speed of Timon is to speed of Pumbaa will be same as A divided by D minus A. Okay. Now let's understand what happens when they meet. When they meet, okay, दोनों क्या करेंगे? They continue and they again meet each other, right? Same thing happens. They continue, they again meet. Okay, they continue and they again meet. This is what happens after they meet for the first time. Okay, now let's understand how Timon has moved from the very beginning. Okay, before that, the meeting point this time is B units from the right end, from Q, right? Isn't it? So this distance comes out to be D minus B. Okay, let's understand the movement of Timon now. Timon starts from the left end from P, okay, and it completes the entire track length or extra B, है ना? So Timon has moved a distance equal to D plus B units. Similarly, Pumbaa starts from the right end, okay, पूरा track length cover किया and it is back, right? Back से right end से कितना end बाकी है अभी? B units बाकी है. So Pumbaa is covering D units plus D minus B units, right? So Pumbaa is covering a total of 2D minus B. Okay, I hope you can understand this carefully. This distance, guys, completely is going to be D units. Okay, so Pumbaa covers this and stops here, right? What is this remaining distance we saw? This remaining distance we saw is D minus B, right? So Pumbaa is traveling D plus the D minus B, right? So that comes out to be 2D minus B, right? Okay. Again, the speed of Timon to speed of Pumbaa, the ratio will be the distance they are traveling, right? Starting से लेकर end तक, the distance they are traveling is D plus B upon 2D minus B. Okay, both denote the ratio of the speeds of these two people. So we equate the two. Okay, when we equate and cross multiply, okay, you'll cancel out all terms. Only one thing remains, the distance D, which is equal to 3A minus B. Okay, you can remember this shortcut, guys. Okay, the track length is D, which is 3A minus B, where A is the distance, okay, where A is the distance of the first meeting point from this end and B is the distance of the second meeting point from the other end. Okay, when this happens, the track length is 3A minus B. It's as simple as that. Okay, so you can apply the same thing here. Put in the values. Here, the value of A is 40 and B is 30. Just plug in the values. Your answer is 90. The track length is 90 meters. Okay, caution. This will not work when the ratio of speeds is greater than 3, greater than 2. Okay, why? Because guys, in that case, उन लोगों का मीटिंग पॉइंट काफी बढ़ जाएगा बीच में, राइट? द डिस्टेंस, द 3a वैल्यू विल बेसिकली बिकम लेस देन b, तो आपको d नेगेटिव आ जाएगा इन दैट केस. ओके ओके, सो अवॉइड यूजिंग दिस. ओके, व्हेनेवर यू सी द नेगेटिव वैल्यूज फॉर d, अगर आपने a का वैल्यू पुट किया, b का वैल्यू पुट किया, d comes out to be negative, okay, then remember that the ratio will be definitely greater than 2, okay, or equal to in that case. Okay, that won't be the case anyway, ऐसा क्वेश्चन तो नहीं आएगा, but just stay careful if that happens. The total distance after the first meet, देखो first meet में क्या हुआ? Timon covered A, Pumbaa covered D minus A. Okay, the combined distance was D units, right? Okay, the second meet, in the second meet, okay, Timon has covered D plus B, Pumbaa has covered 2D minus B. The total distance they travel is what? B cancel, D plus 2D is equal to 3D, right? So the second meet per distance is 3D. In the same way, you will say that for the third meet distance is 5D. Okay, that means for the nth meet, the total distance they will travel is 2n minus 1 into D. ओके, अब आपसे पूछेंगे कि इंडिविजुअल डिस्टेंस कितने कितना ट्रेवल किया. फॉर दैट ऑलवेज रिमेंबर, ओके, द डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल्ड इज प्रोपोर्शनल टू द रेशियो ऑफ देयर स्पीड्स. ओके, जो भी उनका स्पीड का रेशियो रहेगा उसी रेशियो में हम डिस्टेंस को बांटेंगे. ऑलराइट, विल सी वन एग्जांपल बेस्ड ऑन दिस नाउ. A and B are 850 meters away and they start moving towards each other at the same time and turn back after reaching each other's starting point. Same with the previous question. They keep on moving like this non-stop. If the speeds are in the ratio 8:9, then at what distance from B starting point will they meet for the 10th time? Okay. Now, guys, they are meeting for the 10th time as per this question. We saw that for the nth time, the total distance they will cover is 2n minus 1 times D. Right? So, यहाँ पे n value कितना है? 10 दिया हुआ है. So, total distance they will travel is 2 into 10 minus 1 multiplied by the track length D, which is 19 times D. Okay. Now, they are asking you at what distance from B starting point. Okay, let's understand B ने कितना distance travel किया हुआ. As I told you previously, जो भी total distance रहेगा, okay, उसको हम लोग उनके speeds के ratio में divide करेंगे, right? Which is 8:9 in this case. इसी ratio में they will basically travel the distance. Okay, so 19D में से 8 parts A travel करेगा और 9 parts B travel करेगा. In essence, you can say B will travel 9 by 17th. 8 plus 9 is 17. So B will cover 9 by 17th of the total distance, 19D. Okay, this comes out to be 9 9 80, 171 basically, 171 upon 17D. Okay, थोड़ा सा इसको अगर ऑब्जर्व करें हम लोग अच्छे से, this can be written as 170D plus 1D divided by 17, right? Okay, this explains something. Okay, when you separate denominators, 170 upon 7 is 10d plus extra क्या बचा 1 by 17th of d. तो this tells you basically b का movement कैसे हो रहा है, right? Okay, b का movement ऐसे हो रहा है. Okay, b is covering first 10 track lengths 10 times and the extra distance. Okay, extra distance यहाँ पे कितना है 1 by 17 times d, which in this case is 1 by 17 times 850, right guys? जो कि आता है अपना 50 meters. राइट, अब देखते हैं कैसे हो रहा है ये. ओके, 10d प्लस 1 बाय 17d का मतलब क्या है, देखो 10 टाइम्स द ट्रैक लेंथ विल बी ट्रेवल्ड. ओके, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, right? So 10 times the track length has been covered. उसके अलावा now, okay, the distance traveled is 10 into 850. उसके अलावा एक्स्ट्रा डिस्टेंस कितना ट्रेवल हुआ, द एक्स्ट्रा डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल्ड इज 50 meters. सो दैट मींस बी के स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट से कितना डिस्टेंस पे बी है अभी राइट नाउ, बी इज एट 50 meters फ्रॉम हिज ओन स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट. ओके, आफ्टर कंप्लीटिंग 10 ट्रैक लेंथ्स, ओके, बी एग्जैक्टली कहां पे होगा, वो एग्जैक्टली 50 meters पे होगा फ्रॉम हिज ओन स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट.